The HOA president called the cops on me, not knowing her own house sat on my land. I was out by the old fence line just after sunrise, the kind of quiet mountain morning where you can hear your own boots crunching gravel from 50 feet away. I had a post-hole digger in one hand and a thermos in the other, already sweating because the ground was stubborn and rocky. That fence had been leaning for years, ever since I bought the property, but that morning I finally decided to do something about it. It wasn't fancy work. Just straightening the line, resetting a few posts, keeping my cattle where they belonged. Normal, boring landowner stuff. Then I saw the flash of blue lights through the trees. At first I thought someone had crashed on the road below my ridge. That happens more often than you'd think, but the lights didn't keep moving. They stopped. Then a cruiser started creeping up my long gravel driveway like it had all the time in the world. Another one followed it, and behind them in a spotless white SUV came her, the HOA president. She stepped out like she was walking onto a stage. Perfect hair, clipboard tucked under her arm, that tight little smile she always wore when she thought she had the upper hand. I'd seen that look before. Usually it meant another letter in my mailbox about some made-up violation. Grass too tall, fence too crooked, truck parked wrong, you name it, she'd tried it. But this time she brought the cops. She pointed at me before either officer even spoke. "That's him," she said. "He's trespassing on my property and damaging my fence." I almost laughed, almost. One of the officers asked me to put the tools down, so I did. I leaned the post-hole digger against a tree and walked over, calm. Because when you own land long enough, you learn not to get rattled by people who don't know what they're talking about. "Sir," the officer said, "she's claiming you're working on her land without permission." I looked past him, straight at her. "This is my fence," I said. "Always has been," she gave a little scoff, the kind that drips with confidence. "That fence marks my boundary," she said. "It always has." He just decided to move it because he doesn't like me. The officers looked at each other, then down at the ground. One of them knelt and examined the old wooden posts. They were weathered, gray with age, sunk deep into the earth. These weren't something I'd just thrown in overnight. "Do either of you have a survey?" the younger officer asked. "Oh, I don't need one," she replied quickly. "Everyone in the neighborhood knows where the lines are." I did have one. I walked back to my truck and pulled out a folded map, the edges worn soft from years of being opened and closed. When I laid it out on the hood, her smile twitched just a little. "This," I said, tapping the paper, "is the official property survey from when I bought the land. It shows my boundary runs right through that line of trees, across this clearing, and straight through what she's calling her driveway." The older officer leaned closer. "You're saying her driveway is on your land?" "Not just the driveway," I said. "Her shed, half her lawn, and that fence she's so worried about. That's been on my side the whole time." She laughed, sharp and nervous. "That's ridiculous. My house has been there for 15 years. You're telling me no one noticed?" I met her eyes. "I noticed. I just never made it an issue, until today." The officers decided to verify. They pulled out their measuring wheel and started following the survey markers. The further they went, the quieter she got. The wheel rolled across the gravel of her driveway, then right past the edge of her manicured grass, and finally stopped near the side of her shed. The younger officer looked up. "Ma'am, this structure is over the line." Her face drained of color. "That's not possible." "It is," he said, "by quite a bit." That was the moment everything flipped. 10 minutes earlier, she was the powerful HOA president calling the cops on some stubborn landowner. Now she was the one standing on the wrong side of the law, literally. She started talking fast. "There must be a mistake. The developer told me this was my lot. Everyone's been using this land for years. He's just trying to steal it now." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "You've been using it," I said. "Not everyone, and I never said a word because it wasn't worth the trouble, but you brought trouble to me." The officers pulled her aside. They explained what trespassing meant, what encroachment meant, and what it meant when someone builds permanent structures on land they don't own. I watched her confidence crumble with every sentence. She tried to argue, she tried to charm, she even tried to cry. None of it worked. Eventually, one of the officers came back to me. "Sir," he said, "you're well within your rights here. We're going to document the encroachment. Any further action will be between you and her in civil court." I nodded. "That's all I ever wanted, the truth on paper." They turned back to her. She was no longer smiling. She was gripping her clipboard like it was a life raft. The irony was almost too much. For years, she'd sent me letters, fines, threats all over tiny things. A mailbox that wasn't straight enough. A shed that didn't match some imaginary rule. Meanwhile, she had been sitting on my land the entire time, building on it, landscaping it, claiming it like it was hers. And she only found out because she tried to use her power on the wrong person. The cops left, but the silence they left behind was louder than their sirens ever were. She stood there, staring at the ground, knowing she couldn't just bully her way out of this one. "You're not really going to take it, are you?" she said quietly. I looked at the fence, the trees, the stretch of land that had always been mine, even when I wasn't using it. "I already own it," I said. "I just finally proved it." I went back to my work after that, picked up my tools, kept resetting the posts. She eventually got back in her SUV and drove away without another word. A week later, I got a very different kind of letter in my mailbox. Not a fine, not a threat. A notice from her lawyer asking to negotiate an easement. Funny how power works. When you think you own everything, you don't bother checking where your boundaries actually are. And sometimes the moment you try to crush someone else is the exact moment you learn how small your world really is. So now I'm curious. If you were in my place, would you let her keep what she took? Or would you make her face 15 years of crossing the line?